Way out west, there was this fella we want to tell you about. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 funniest The Big Lebowski moments.
Blow on them.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're taking a look at the scenes that best demonstrate why The Big Lebowski is one of the most surreal, inventive, and most hilarious movies of the past 2 decades.
Shut the up, Donnie.
Number 10. Maude makes an entrance.
My art has been commended as being strongly vaginal, which bothers some men. The word itself makes some men uncomfortable. Vagina.
Oh yeah?
When you think about it, a lot of the scenes in this movie could have played out in a fairly straightforward fashion. Take this moment, for example. Maude Lebowski simply needs to enter the room and introduce herself to the dude. Instead, she comes flying in wearing a harness and splatters paint onto the canvas below.
I'll be with you in a moment, Mr. Lebowski.
She then strips down, has her assistants robe her, and starts talking about the female form. Maude does eventually get into why she summoned the dude, but not before listing off several synonyms for penis.
Without batting an eye, a man will refer to his dick, or his rod, or his Johnson.
Johnson?
The audience is unexpectedly submerged into a state of bewilderment where it's impossible not to laugh.
I was talking about my rug.
You're not interested in sex?
You mean coitus?
Number 9. Nihilist fight.
Are these the Nazis, Walter?
No, Donnie, these men are nihilists. There's nothing to be afraid of.
It's only natural that a film with kidnapping, ransoms, and German nihilists would build up to a big showdown. The climactic fight, however, somehow manages to be epic while also coming across as hilariously half-assed.
Get easy, man! Hit the $4!
Along with Walter and Donnie, the dude exits the bowling alley to find his car on fire, as if the poor vehicle hadn't suffered enough abuse. They're confronted by the nihilists, who want their money and won't listen to reason.
So we take some money, you have fun, we call Shadifa.
The nihilists may have swords, but they weren't prepared to go up against Walter and his sharp set of teeth. Although Walter takes out all 3, our heroes do suffer one casualty as Donnie has a heart attack and dies.
You shot Donnie? There weren't any shots fired.
Huh?
It's a heart attack. Call the medics, dude.
Number 8. The drop-off.
My point, dude, is why should we settle for 20 grand when we can keep the entire million? Am I wrong?
In a tale full of colorful characters, Walter Sobchak is the wild card that gives the film an extra layer of spontaneity. The dude makes the mistake of letting him tag along on a ransom drop. Wanting to keep the money, Walter fills a briefcase with his dirty undies. Matters only get worse when the kidnappers call and the dude stumbles through negotiations with no help from Walter.
Walter, will you just shut the up? Don't say people. I'm doing business here, man.
With no time to argue, Walter hurls the fake ransom off a bridge and rolls out of the driver's seat with a gun blasting.
Walter,
15, dude. This is take that hill.
Despite ruining the drop-off and wrecking his best friend's car, it doesn't take long for Walter to brush it off and go bowling.
Ah, it, dude. Let's go bowling.
Number 7. The Jesus.
But you don't fool Jesus. It's Bush League psycho stuff. Laughable, man.
In the long run, Jesus Quintana really doesn't contribute much to the plot. Without him, though, the movie would have been deprived of this uproarious scene. The Coen brothers reportedly gave actor John Turturro a lot of freedom in creating this over-the-top bowler. This resulted in some of Jesus' signature moments, such as his backwards dance and the suggestive way he shines his bowling ball. Jesus seems like the most confident and magnetic person in the room, but it's hard to have any respect for him when Walter reveals he's actually a sex offender. This guy can talk trash like no other, asserting that nobody f***s with Jesus.
You said it, man. Nobody with the Jesus.
Number 6. Gutterballs.
Just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in.
This dream sequence of a fictional film just drops in out of nowhere, so it's only fitting that the scene is accompanied by Kenny Rogers' Just Dropped In. With the essence of a trippy music video, the scene is so random that some viewers might not pick up on the numerous sexual innuendos. For example, take a closer look at how that bowling pin and those balls are positioned. How about the giant shoe rack skyrocketing to the moon? There's also the domineering Maude wearing a horny Viking outfit. Just as life is full of strikes and gutters, the dream turns into a nightmare when the nihilists appear with giant scissors, personifying the dude's fear of losing his Johnson. Number 5. I'm the Dude.
Okay, sir, you're a Lebowski, I'm a Lebowski. That's terrific.
The two Jeffrey Lebowskis don't have anything in common outside of sharing the same name. Actually, they don't even have that in common, as one prefers to be called the Dude, which he makes clear upon meeting Mr. Lebowski.
Wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the Dude. So that's what you call me.
The differences between these men is only magnified, as the wealthy Lebowski condemns the Dude for being an unemployed bum who can't distinguish a weekday from a weekend.
Are you employed, sir?
Employed?
You don't go out looking for a job dressed like that, do you? On a weekday?
What day is this?
At the root of this priceless conversation is an absurdly trivial matter. The Dude wants Lebowski to compensate him for his rug, which an intruder urinated on. You wouldn't think this problem would warrant so much commotion, but then again, that rug really did tie the room together.
Oh, so you know that they were trying to piss on your rug?
Did I urinate on your rug?
You mean, did you personally come and pee on my rug?
Hello? Do you speak English, sir? Parla usted inglés? I'll ask you again. Did I urinate on your rug?
Number 4. The Rug.
No, don't do that. Not on the rug, man.
Speaking of the rug, this movie might have the strangest inciting incident in all of cinema. Returning to his humble abode, the Dude is caught off guard when a thug sends his head charging into a toilet bowl. Seeking the money Bunny Lebowski owes, the goons soon realize that they've confused the Dude for another Jeffrey Lebowski.
Nobody calls me Lebowski. You got the wrong guy. I'm the Dude, man.
You'd think they would have been able to tell the Dude wasn't a millionaire based on his house. The lifted toilet seat also clearly indicates he's not married.
My wife, Bunny? Do you see a wedding ring on my finger?
There's no use in crying over literal spilt milk, but the intruders made the mistake of pissing on the Dude's rug, thus sending our protagonist off on a journey unlike any other.
Okay. The old man told me to take any rug in the house.
Number 3. Over the Line.
Over the line!
I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
It's hard to say if Walter has always been a temperamental hothead, or if his experiences in Vietnam turned him into an unstable nut. Either way, any situation can escalate out of control when Walter's around. One minute, he's explaining to his friends why he brought his ex-wife's dog to the bowling alley. The next, he's lashing out at a fellow bowler for slightly stepping over the line.
Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
It's Walter who truly goes over the line, however, whipping out a gun and threatening Smokey to accept the foul. Not wanting to enter a world of pain, Smokey does so. Nobody f***s with the Walter either.
The league game, Smokey.
Number 2. You see what happens, Larry?
You see what happens, Larry?
When Walter isn't using a gun to resolve his problems, he's using his crowbar to send a message. Thinking that a kid named Larry stole the ransom money, Walter and the Dude go to interrogate the high school student. When that doesn't work, Walter resorts to Plan B.
See what happens, Larry? You see what happens? This is what happens when you f*** a stranger in the ass, Larry.
Thinking that Larry spent the money on a fancy sports car, Walter turns into a wrecking machine, while repeating one of the more memorable lines of John Goodman's career. The damage is only made funnier when it's revealed that the car isn't Larry's, but a neighbor's. To get even, the Dude's already smashed up vehicle pays the price. This is what happens when you lose your cool, Walter. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Do I make myself clear?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Ow! F***ing fascist!
Oh, nice marmot.
Now, so far, we have what appears to me to be a series of victimless crimes.
What about the toe? Forget about the f***ing toe!
Number 1. Donnie's Ashes.
Donnie was a good bowler and a good man. He was one of us. He was a man who loved the outdoors and bowling.
We guess you could say that Donnie died in battle, but his death still feels incredibly sudden and pointless. Of course, that just makes his funeral all the more hysterical. Before spreading his ashes by the sea, Walter delivers a eulogy that abruptly takes a detour into Vietnam.
He died as so many young men of his generation before his time. In your wisdom, Lord, you took him. As you took so many bright, flowering young men at Quai San, at Landak, at Hill 364.
Walter does get back on track with a few thoughtful words about the deceased, but any dramatic weight this scene might have carried is obliterated when he unleashes Donnie's ashes. We're not sure what's funnier, that they put Donnie's cremains in a coffee can, or that most of the ashes blow into the dude's face.
Good night, sweet prince.
At least the guys are able to hug it out in the end.
Come on, dude. Hey, it, man. Let's go bowling.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.